Hello, in this lesson we're going to see how Vite can resolve the problems we had in the last lesson where Chrome wasn't able to resolve the import references to packages in the node modules area. So first of all, let's install Vite. Let's look at the package.json file. While I do that, I'll say npm install -d Vite and watch what happens. The -d causes Vite to be installed as a developer tool. So it has its own section in the package.json file. And if we look up here, we'll notice that a number of libraries have been installed. There's Capitalize, our original one, and a whole bunch of other libraries have been installed. But critically, this folder called .bin has now been created. And in here is Vite, which is actually a JavaScript program itself. It's a program that can be run, and we can see when we run this file, it'll hit this start line, and that also will call this start function, and off it goes, and the entire web server will start up. So let's just do that. We've looked at a couple of commands that we got from Node. We've looked at the node command, and we've seen the npm command. There's also the npx command, which will run programs in their node modules bin area. So if I say npx Vite, it'll start up Vite. And if I follow this link, let's just reorganize my screen a little bit so we can see VS Code and Chrome running at the same time. And we'll go into the developer tools here. And clearly our website is up and running and it's working. And if I go to the console window, just ignore that error for now. If I go to main.js and print this text out to the console, console.log text, notice nothing's happening yet, but watch this console window when I do go file save. Bam, we see Fred appear. Now let's have a little look at what's happened in the actual source code. May need to make this a little bit bigger. We can see over here that Vite seems to have mucked around with our main.js. It's created this import from the node modules area, and it's created like a proxy for the function called capitalize so that we can call the capitalize function, and it's all worked. So it sort of messed around with our source code a bit to make these imports work. Now let's just put Chrome away for a moment. Let's just focus on back in VS Code. There is a more common way of running Vite, and typically we would create what's called a scripts block in the package.json file. So let me just create one and show you. So here I've got this block called scripts, and inside it, it's got dev:\Vite. And what this means is when I run the command dev, it'll run Vite. So let me just show you npm run dev, and up pops Vite. And if I follow this link, we'll see it's exactly the same as before. Now, you may be wondering why we do it this way, and this just gives us more flexibility over running sort of more complex commands. We won't be using npx again in the rest of this course. I just wanted to show you under the hood what's going on. But this is by far the more common way of running npm applications. So let's just think a little bit about what's going on so far. At the moment, we're running a local web server on our machine, the Vite web server, and it seems to be doing this sort of hot module reloading. So when I change main.js, it sort of immediately pops up. But the ultimate goal here is to deliver a website, a public-facing website. And we won't be doing that from our local machine. Obviously, we'll be deploying our website to an enterprise-grade web server, either something like NGX running on a sort of hosted machine that we have, or a cloud-based solution, something like Amazon, their S03 buckets and content delivery network CloudFront. So Vite also has the facilities, it has features built into it which can package up our code, all these various HTML and JS files, and package them all up into a nice little bundle that can be dispatched to a professional web server. And we call that build mode. So let me just show you how we do that. I just add another command, build, and it runs Vite build. And Vite's going to do something quite different now. It's not going to run a web server at all. It's going to create this bundle of files that we will dispatch to a web server. So notice up here that at the moment there's a folder called node modules. When I run this, above node modules, a new folder is going to appear called dist. So let me just show you. npm run build. And there appears the dist folder. And inside it are just three files. There's index.html, which notice the script block has been removed. And instead there's a new script block up at the top here. And it's referring to source code in this assets folder. It's referring to this index.js file, which contains what's called a minified version of so basically it's stripped out all the white space and the new lines. It's just squashed everything together. But in here is our JavaScript, so our main.js and our button.js, plus all of the JavaScript it needed from all of these libraries down here. It sort of packaged that all up in one minified file and given it a unique name. And it's also done the same thing for CSS. So if we go back to HTML, it's created a minified CSS file which contains our CSS and any other CSS that it's sort of met along the way, and it's put it in here. So these three files are all that's necessary for an enterprise grade web server to deliver our website. And Vite does actually allow us to see this website, this version of the website, running locally through a command called Vite preview. So we'll close the lesson by running this. We'll say preview, Vite preview. There we go. And if I do npm run preview and then follow the link, you'll see here is our website now delivered professional style. So with that, I will see you in the next lesson.